friends, my name is Alex Davis. I am really excited to chat with you guys today and share with you a little bit about me and why I've decided to pursue apologetics at Oklahoma Baptist University.
Hello, are you ready to have fun?
Getting my master's there. I am so excited. I can't even express in words. So I am from Ardmore, Oklahoma. I currently live in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And when it comes to my experience in engaging with unbelievers with Christ's message, it has definitely been, a walking, building, gradual process to being confident enough to share the gospel with unbelievers. But I would say for certain that I've been able to do so since I was about 12 years old. And okay, maybe that was a lie, but I would say probably 15 years old. 12 was when I was saved, so definitely not when I was 12. But I would probably say 15 or so was probably when the light bulb started to kind of go off in my head, and I started to recognize my purpose and who God was, and that I had grace over my life. And that was when I truly wanted others to have the kind of peace that I had, to live in the freedom that I wanted them to experience too. And so that is definitely at the age of 15 was when my mind started to open up. And it's been really cool with my life, especially in college. I got the opportunity to go overseas and share the gospel and see the gospel being taken place in a completely different environment, but it's the same God and the same truth. And that was a moment in time when I thought, wow, like my calling, as all believers, calling is to go to the ends of the world. And in that moment, it just clicked, and God uses moments like that. Personally, my experience with apologetics has been a building process, has been a research process, and biblical understanding, looking up things on my own. So I would say this process of having this interest and desire to comprehend and know apologetics more has been evolving in my own heart and mind over the last 3 years. So I did, after I graduated from Baylor University in December of 2017, I pursued working in a church without going and getting my master's. And so after that time of being in the church, while I was there, and then while the time was ended and it was over, I could not stop wanting to see what was truth and what was not. And that truly changed me, because I wasn't solely just relying on pastors' words and what teachers were saying or scholars were saying. I was looking into it on my own. And like I said, it's been a process. And so over these last 3 years, specifically 2020, for this girl, the Lord has been just opening up my mind that I thought I was getting into it, the word, enough. Oh man, I was not even getting close. I mean, who does? I mean, if you're reading the Bible every second of the day, that would probably be enough. But we are human. We don't have energy or time for that. Man, do I wish we did though. Man, we would be living and breathing vessels. And we are. So that's my experience with apologetics. And when it comes to hobbies and leisure activities, I truly enjoy running. I was a scholarship collegiate athlete at Baylor University, so running and being outdoors and active cardio lifestyle activities are really fun for me. I just love cardio so much. Definitely not a weightlifter of the sorts. I really enjoy being creative. I love writing, and I love being able to create for people, whether that's baking. I love baking. I'm a manager at a coffee shop and bakery here, and I love creating coffee drinks for customers. I love being able to serve others. I would honestly think that's a hobby. because I love getting in the kitchen and even in the bakery and just making the cookie dough. I made some cookie dough today, and there's nothing like it, honestly. Cookie dough making is a piece of heaven to me. I mean, we can all relate to that. I mean, come on. And so an interesting tidbit about me is that I got the opportunity to, this is a fun fact, I got to lead someone to Christ, but it was through the most unexpected way. So when I graduated from Baylor, I moved back to Oklahoma City immediately for an internship in a church. And so while I was, moving to Oklahoma City, I thought, now is the time to find my future husband. Long story short, I got a dating app. I don't have one anymore. I don't think that's good for the female heart. I mean, maybe some can, keep their motives in check. But for my own heart and mind, it's not good for my heart's motivations. And I believe that I see people differently. And I want to see them as humans and souls. And I don't want to see people as just someone that I could swipe on, even in public. Like, can you imagine going up to someone? Like, no. So anyway, I was able to sit down with this guy that was a great guy. I noticed we were over the app. I was sharing with him, a little bit about me, and my faith is my everything. And if guys didn't respond to some of the things that I mentioned or said or shared, I would just delete them. Like, do you know Jesus? Who's that? Or, I mean, kinda, sometimes I get in the Bible, delete. And this guy had good responses, so I was willing to meet up and get coffee. So my first Tinder date ever, and his too, actually. So we sat down at Starbucks, and we're getting chatting and starting to catch up, and he starts asking me all these questions, kind of things that we had already talked about, but he was like asking me these questions to deep dive into where I'd been, what was my college ministry like, how did I get passionate, how did God change me, why did I love Jesus like I did, why was I going to work in the church, like why was my life looking like it did, why was I so in love with Jesus. Ended up I was able to answer the questions decently enough and defend the gospel and share it with him, and he came to know Christ. And it was really a moment that I did not expect, but once he started asking the questions more intentionally, I knew that it was a possibility, but I wasn't going to either quench the spirit, and I wasn't going to force it onto him either, because that's not what it's about. It's not about forcing someone to come to know Christ at all, and that is very prevalent in the church today. So that is a fun fact. And the guy is now, I've heard him speak at a church. He's gotten up in front of the whole congregation and spoke and shared his testimony with the church and shared about me. I was basically in tears. It was an absolute phenomenal experience, and he wants to be a missionary. So go Devontae. He's a phenomenal human. And what else? So what do I expect to walk away with when this course is completed? I expect to walk away being educated, having a better grasp on biblical truth, having a better understanding of religions as a whole, what this one believes and thinks versus this, but also how I can communicate with other faiths and not step on toes. I mean, if anyone comes in contact with a Christian with the ultimate truth, the Holy Spirit steps on your toes. But I want to be able to have a better grasp and understanding of how to communicate effectively with non-believers and even with the believers that are deceived. So that is what I truly hope and desire to come away with this specific course. And in general, I truly want to have more wisdom and discernment for the true defense of the gospel. How can I defend the gospel that is true and right, and so that I don't lead anyone astray. That is one of my heart's aches and desires, is to share the truth, and nothing but the truth. So it's a little bit about me, Alex Davis. I'm really excited for this course. I'm thrilled, and I'm extremely passionate about the young adult generation. So I really hope to be able to encourage and exhort the young adult women in college age. Nice to meet you guys.